And so I began with the unboxing of the kit. I have already shown an unboxing of this entire kit in a separate video, and I'll put a link to that below so you can watch that there. So opening the box, all the parts are exposed here, and that's the instruction sheet. So it's got very simple 1, 2, 3 and 4 steps, and it is followed at the back by all the paint guides, and I'm going to use the Indian Air Force painting scheme. And so I began the build process of the entire kit, and as you can see, this is the first step. I have cut out the cockpit floor, and I'm also cutting out the seats from the sprues, and it was a matter of just cleaning a little bit with the X-Acto knife and then a little bit of sanding here just to smooth the edges on the floor, and then like a jigsaw simply putting the seats into the notches that were there in the floor. This was followed simply by attaching the entire floor and seat assembly to the actual underside of the fuselage. I then cut out the exhaust nozzle assemblies from the sprues, and again, just like a jigsaw, it was a matter of simply pushing the exhaust nozzles into the nudges that were given for it to be attached. And once that was done, I simply slid the upper part of the fuselage on top of it, and this is where I started noticing some issues with the kit. You can see that entire big gap in the wing root, which would need some fixing. The pilots were actually just little blobs of plastic, and at this point I wasn't interested in showcasing the pilots with the kit, so I just kind of disposed of the pilots. I then cut open the plastic bag, removed the wings from the sprues, and this is where the instructions do not mention the use of glue, but I found that you would need glue to fix these little issues because there are some gaps in the fuselage and you would not be able to cover up those gaps if you don't use glue. So here you can see me fixing the wings. I have added some glue to the wings and glued them on. The same goes for the horizontal stabilizers. So you can see that most of the parts, they fit snug, but still I would recommend the use of glue while assembling this kit. The nose just simply slides in like that. And even the air intake assembly was pretty simplistic. It's got those notches inside the fuselage wherein it just slides in and it has to be just pushed into place. And I was surprised at the kind of engineering and thought process that has been put into the design of this kit. It is a jigsaw, but a very, very detailed jigsaw. I then cut out the wheels of the undercarriage, and the wheels also fit onto the oleos very, very well. Right then, this was followed by the assembly of the undercarriage doors and then the undercarriage assembly. Everything fits like a dream. Now at this point I decided to have both the pilots into the aircraft just to enhance the detail of the finished model. But the pilots were pretty bland in that blue color, so I decided to go ahead and paint the pilots in olive drab uniform and white helmets. Now the seats are completely blue, so to improve the accuracy in the model, I painted up the headrest of the seats with a black Sharpie. Now you can see the canopy is a little foggy here, So I used my standard method of polishing the canopy by applying Colgate toothpaste all along the canopy and then leaving it to dry for about 10-15 minutes. And after that, I buffed the entire toothpaste with a damp cotton Q-tip all around the canopy. And once it was shiny enough, I dipped the canopy in some Future, and this gave it the ultimate shine that was required for it. Finally, it was time for the markings of the aircraft, so I used the Indian Air Force roundels and the squadron markings from 20 Squadron Lightnings. Now the decals are, I would say, kind of substandard because I noticed a few issues with the decals. One, that they don't easily slide off the backing paper, and two, they've got a lot of film around them, the carrier film around them. So these are the two issues that I had to fix. Apart from that, the decals went on okay. Finally, I removed the pilots from their sprues and added the Wizzo and the pilot into their respective positions. And the penultimate step was to add the missiles, so these also simply fit into the notches that are given in this very well engineered kit. I then scratch built the Brahmos missile with scrap pieces of plastic and then attached the missile after painting it blue on the underside of the Sukhoi 30. Now if you notice, the canopy of the Sukhoi 30 is in two pieces, whereas here on the kit it is entirely one piece, and the IRST sensor is also attached onto the single piece canopy. So I had to cut out the front portion of the canopy so that I could show the canopy in the open position on the Sukhoi 30. So I used my micro saw to cut it out, and then I fixed the front portion onto the fuselage of the Sukhoi 30, and I displayed the rear portion in the open position. Now for this, I needed a hydraulic rod in order to show the canopy in the open position. So I took a piece of plastic and stretched it by heating it up a little, stretching it to the desired length and thickness. And then I cut out the stretched plastic from the tips of the plastic, and then I displayed it on top of the seat as a hydraulic rod that would hold the rear part of the canopy on the Sukhoi 30 in the open position. And finally, with that, the model was complete, and I leave you with some beauty shots of the Sukhoi 30 from 20 Squadron Lightning. I would definitely recommend this kit for anybody who wants to have fun while building a kit, especially for the beginners, if you just want to know how it is to build an assembly model. Apart from the little issues of the fit and the decals, the rest of the kit was pretty enjoyable and I had fun. So I hope you had fun watching this build video as much as I enjoyed building the kit. If you like my video, click on the thumbs up, subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video shortly. Bye-bye.